Welcome, hatchlings, to the Crow's Nest, where we talk about whatever's on my mind. My name's Ava, like Avian, and these are my co-stars, Onyx and Marie. So this is quite a way to kick off the season of love, talking about why love is dead. What exactly are you inquiring, Ava? I'm saying that with all the stuff you're fed on social media, and all the things you hear from the people around you, what's the point in finding love? I know y'all probably don't get it because you're in your 50s. 40s. Whatever. First subject. Divorce and breakups. Till death do us part is pretty much a load of bologna and cheese because study shows that over 73% of marriages ended in divorce in 2023. And from my gatherings from Reddit and TikTok, you're obtaining your information from those brain-rotting mobile applications. How imbecilic. Onyx, let her talk. Thanks, Marie. I've seen the many things on there that show that people will break up with their partner over some of the craziest reasons. From not killing a spider, to not peeling an orange, to not wanting to be someone's subservient little homemaker. I liked being a homemaker in my mortal life. Okay, well, women have the same rights as house cats in your mortal life. Ava, don't stop with that radical feminist buffoonery. You see, this is why that movement gets such a bad... Onyx! Well, divorce rates only really spiked because divorce finally became a thing in the 70s and 80s. But that was only because women were finally able to walk away from unhappy marriages, probably from the 1950s, when domestic violence was pretty common and sometimes even encouraged. Take The Honeymooners and I Love Lucy, for example. And not to mention that over 6,000 marriages ended in divorce in 2021. That's probably when love began to die, and it's still showing examples that it's still decomposing with the many examples that you may see, like not wanting to be a homemaker. But you can blame the rise of trad wives for that, who are holier than thou and preach that feminism is evil, and the men who consume this and bomb their marriages because they want a subservient trad wife who makes sourdough bread every day. If you want a trad wife so bad, then why don't you act like a trad husband? Well, you can't base your entire idea of love being dead off of divorce rates and stay-at-home wives. I mean, it sure does add to the idea. And your examples are just... Why exactly would someone want to leave their partner for not peeling a fruit for them? I'm glad you asked that, because that bleeds, or should I say, blooms, into our next subject. You know, because orange flowers? Whatever. Orange peel theory and how social media screws with relationships. Social media. What a hellhole. Okay, 1351. So, what exactly is the orange peel theory? Well, it was supposed to be small and simple. The theory claims that if your partner is willing to do small tasks for you, like peeling an orange or tying your shoes, in what sort of scenario would you be tying your loved one's shoes as if they were 5 years old? Well, what if they're pregnant and the baby bump gets in the way of tying your shoes? Can't even argue with that. As I was saying, if your partner is willing to do small things for you like that you're fully capable of doing yourself, then they're more likely to do bigger tasks for you in the future. This isn't necessarily about the orange, more so the level of trust you have with your partner, according to some TikTok users. But the internet did what the internet does and turned it rotten. Oh dear, now that you mention it, I have heard of this orange peel theory before. It became nothing more than a measly test that's set designed to set you up for failure. I know, Marie, but I've seen other examples of the orange peel theory with women talking about how their boyfriends do basically everything for them. Filling their bottles, cutting their food, stuff like that. Once again, showing this theory is designed that your partner must treat you like a toddler. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the orange peel theory was just another way of saying that your partner's love language is acts of service, but the fact is being shoved at your throat that your partner hates you because they won't peel a fruit is just bizarre and shows a clear lack of communication and trust between you two. If you have to have your boyfriend peel an orange for you just to know that he's actually interested in you, then you probably shouldn't be with him in the first place because you either can't trust him or he's just that unwilling to help you out. I would have never broken up with my husband if he didn't peel an orange for me. Not just because I know he would do it for me, but because I could easily grab a knife and do it myself. Now, that's not saying there are others who can't do it themselves, like the mentally feeble. Marie, we don't really use that term in the 20th century. Well, how else is she supposed to describe the mentally retarded? Now, Marie is right in some ways. Some people, including those with neurological disorders, which I'm assuming she meant, can't peel an orange for themselves. Or maybe they just have short fingernails that prevent them from ripping off the skin of the orange. Or maybe they just don't want to peel an orange. Spoiled sluts, both of them. Onyx, you've been so bitter this whole segment. You really think wanting your partner to do a small act of service to you is such a travesty? Well, no, but you're acting like you wouldn't peel an orange for Gladys, when I know you would go out of your way to pick the best orange for her. Well, well, we're missing the point. The point is, the orange peel theory is a contorted monstrosity. Well, that's not... Whatever, let's get into our next subject, the dreaded situationship. You're probably wondering what exactly a situationship is. Well, a situationship is basically a relationship that isn't official or committed. It's kind of like another version of friends with benefits. Why would you not want to be committed to someone you claim to love? Because some people may want the physical aspect of a romantic relationship, but not want to be tied down and may want to experiment with other people. Selfless puppeteers is what they are, pulling on the strings of one's heart like they're some silly little knick-knack, just to toss them out like a piece of that colorful adhesive confection once the flavor is extracted and is nothing more than a sloppy mess. Do you mean chewing gum? Whatever it's called, that's just defying the aspect of the beauty of a long-term monogamous relationship. Out of everything you said, that's honestly the smartest. And a source from Sanjana Gupta, which I probably just summoned the demon trying to pronounce, says that situationships aren't honest, as one of the partners may be hoping for something more. Just like Onyx hopes with Gladys. Marty, I will peck you. Both of you hush up. Now, situationships may usually happen when at least one of two parties is not ready for commitment, which is why a lot of them may lack clear communication. There are many examples of what a situationship could be, whether it's a casual hookup buddy, a +1 you always take to couple events, or a fortune teller you don't know how to tell your feelings to. Onyx! That's where I will finish just without you two if you don't start acting right. Now, one of the most infamous examples of a situationship is Sayla Brooks and her quote-unquote boyfriend Theo, who claim that they are totally in love and would never love anybody else and are absolutely a couple, but they aren't dating. Oh, and did I mention they were engaged? I mean, they've broken up now, but you get the idea. Who in their right mind would not want to become official after they've gotten that far into a relationship? Why is your generation so scared of commitment? I think it's because some people may worry that they might lose their individuality in a relationship, as that does happen in relationships with many people, particularly women. I think you can relate. Are you really assuming I lost myself in my marriage? Yes, I had to give up some things, but I was still very much my own person. Okay, name 3 things you like besides baking or gardening. Well, Exactly. Ava, there was very little to do when we were alive, especially with the plague. Do you really think that unmarried women were making motion pictures on that application, clock or ticker or whatever it's called? You're not being very fair. All I'm saying is that losing your identity and having your whole identity revolve around your relationship, like the tumultuous trad wives, can be something that will put people off from a relationship. But a situationship may stop that, but it shows that some people don't want to have an actual relationship due to the negative things that may come with it. Some people may be trapped and want freedom. This helps open something else up in relation to this. Open relationship. Ah yes, polygamy. Because your current loving life isn't enough to satisfy your debaucherous desires. Well, in today's day, usually both parties are engaged in intimate activities, and the only time when it's one party with multiple partners is when it comes to different religions or cultures, such as Mormons, who in the past could have multiple wives, or in some Muslim cultures, when men can have up to 4 wives. A lot of times, open relationships are a way to add a little spice to your love life. It's even been found that non-monogamous relationships have the same level of happiness with couples who are monogamous, which just makes you wonder, if you're happy being with other partners while married, then why are you married in the first place? How can you tell somebody you love them and then go to bed with someone else? That's what I always thought. It doesn't help that Reddit seems to paint open relationships as such a battle, right? The trope is always the same when these types of stories on Reddit. It just gives people more reasons to dislike these types of dynamics. How can you be sure that your partner won't find another person and run away with them? It also shows that some people think that monogamous relationships are like a prison, which goes back to the point we made with situationships. Now, I know we've been giving a myriad of examples of why romance is a dumpster fire in today's day and age, and again, claiming that love is dead. But how about we wrap things up with a time that love was likely alive? Now, I would say 1950s were a good time to find love, but that's just because social media has romanticized that time so much, especially with songs with Put Your Head on My Shoulder that they don't seem to know what happened in the typical 1950s household. We live in a time period that seemed to have a lot of great romances, and I bet you two have some good stories. Oh, well, I never really put myself out there. I never found that special someone. But trust me, the things my colleagues did would send anyone from the 20th century into shock. Oh, I had many suitors in my life. I still remember the things they did to try to win me over. Oh, that's great. Tell us the details. Well, one of my co-workers put a lock of his hair in a locket and sent it to a maiden so that she'd always have a piece of him. Well, that's something. Sometimes they wouldn't even wait for the ladies to acknowledge them. They just proposed. Oh, I've lost track of how many men tried to marry me after 2 dates. And all the letters I'd receive every week, I couldn't catch a break. Not even when I finally met my dear Alexander. Yep, that does sound like the life of a lady in the city of love. Speaking of letters, what's that in your pocket, might I ask? Oh, wait, what? Something for Gladys, I see. Before I go break that up, I think I should close this podcast by saying you shouldn't take anything I've said throughout the Senate as you should give up on trying to find someone who you can healthily communicate and stay straight with and trust and grow old with. I'm just saying, with all the things you see nowadays, when it comes to love, that are upsetting, even puts off some romance entirely. Don't give up, hatchlings. Thanks for watching the Crow's Nest, and I'll see you next time when we talk about Swifties.